And we're on camera, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome once again to Assembly Winter 2018, live from Finland. I am Panky. This is Commander X. How are you feeling today for finals day, my man?
I'm excited. We saw a lot of good stuff yesterday. We got our first look at Gigantti. They looked great, but they don't look unbeatable.
No, they don't. We had a wild day yesterday, seeing Gigantti and ENCE dominate their opening games, 3-0 victories over Lati Menace and Team Nemesis respectively as well. But then Lati Menace and Nemesis, of course, faced off in the loser bracket game of the afternoon. And, well, unfortunately for Lati Menace, they were sent home. But it was a nail-biter in a 3-2 scoreline, in which Nemesis did clutch it out, but only in the dying seconds of a couple of matches. By no means was it a clear-cut 3 maps that they won there, so that was tight.
Yeah, I think certainly, obviously, it's disappointing for Lati Menace to go home first and to go home with no prize money, but for a very young team that have come in, didn't maybe have the most practice coming into this. Also, they've just been hit by the patch as well, which definitely hurt them, as it did all the teams. But to put on that kind of performance, show they can do this, they weren't successful this time. No. But we're certainly going to see more of them in the future. That's
for sure. They had some moments of brilliance, and they're definitely a team to watch. But as it is, Nemesis will be here today to play the loser of our opening game. And our opening game, of course, being Gigantti versus ENCE. It's a big one. We have also, after yesterday's pretty consistent set of maps, switched that up completely too. Now kicking this game off today, we're starting on Horizon Lunar Colony, something we saw nothing of yesterday. We're going to follow that then through with Nepal, which we did see a lot of. Here are ENCE coming out onto the stage behind us, as you can see. Their Finnish introductions. After Nepal, we'll go over to Eichenwald. We saw a couple of times yesterday to mix success for different teams. Following it up, 5 will be Lijiang Tower. So we did see Lijiang and Nepal a lot yesterday, but we're seeing them very different positions this time, 2nd and 5th maps.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is that we're going to open with Assault, which we didn't see a single Assault map at all yesterday as Gigantti take the stage.
And it's an ENCE pick too, opening that up on the Assault.
Interesting as well, in terms of bans, Gigantti banned 2 of the hybrid maps. Obviously, Eichenwald still getting through on the 3rd one because they ran out of bans, presumably.
I'd imagine so.
But interesting to see them lean away from those payload maps.
Yeah, so we'll see what they have in store. Now, of course, we saw from these guys, as you mentioned, getting hit a little bit by the patch and seeing some old-school team comps and some more fallback, tried and true, trusty strategy, so to speak, of to keep themselves steady during those situations. But today, against, as I say, the opposite favourites, ENCE Gigantti, that may be where we're looking for things to get switched up a little bit. Maybe this is where they've had something hidden up their sleeve the whole time that they didn't feel they needed to bring out yesterday against Nemesis and Lati Menaces. But now they're up against the big dogs, so to speak. They might have something hidden away, and maybe that's why we've got the Assault map first here from ENCE as a surprise pick.
Potentially, yeah. I think yesterday we saw ENCE very much play triple tank, quad tank, really based around that. Gigantti played more Reinhardt Diva-based stuff. Obviously, they used Davin on Tracer a lot more because he is one of their star players, a great potential.
They make to see a lot more of that today as well.
Yeah. So I think that's a nice tool that they have, and it can throw off the tanks, where I think it's hard because obviously they didn't have to really show their full hand like he said yesterday, so neither team did.
But speaking of, as I say, showing the full hand and say Horizon Lunar Colony, we didn't see it at all. So regardless of like maybe hidden up sleeves, special trade, what is your normal way to play the Assault map Lunar Colony? Talk us through how you expect that to be set up in a standard situation.
So in some ways it might simplify it for them because everyone's going to be on very tank heavy compositions, and it's all about building a big clear advantage. So the first point on most Assault maps is relatively straightforward. You would expect to take that sooner rather than later. And then it's all about breaking that second point, which is the difficult one. So normally you either snowball from first point, which is the ideal situation.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But if that doesn't work out, you tend to try and normally play for like a sack play. So you would try and force ultimates out of a defensive team and then come in with an ultimate advantage. And in the tank meta, that's actually how a lot of it works anyway.
Yeah, that's how we saw a lot of yesterday's game going regardless of the map. So
a lot of cycling ultimates and getting on these Assault maps, not giving up their ultimates for free, making sure they can keep pace with the ultimate economy of the attackers.
We'll find out whether or not they can do that as we go through. Following Lunar Colony, then we will be going over to Nepal, something we did see a lot of yesterday. So a couple of nice Lucio plays, a couple of boops off edges, a couple of sloppy moments from some divas that just get themselves caught out. Now, with this being Gigantti and ENCE, I don't imagine we're going to see too many of those kind of screw-up mess-ups before, but we did see some interesting compositions and mixing in some of the Farah play and some of the more ground-based compositions throughout the course of yesterday's games. Again, it's got to come back to it. Right now, they're against the higher tiers, the higher seeds of each other. Are we going to see those flexible compositions, or is it going to be, again, back to the sticking to your tanks and staying with the tried and true ult cycling?
Yeah, I think it will be still heavily leaning towards the tanks, Davin being the exception. Nil as well, who's the other DPS player for Gigantti, quite accomplished on a lot of heroes. He played a bunch of 76 yesterday. But I feel like we might be stuck in Tank World.
Tank World. I think that's a pretty safe prediction to make after, again, everything we saw yesterday. Yes, okay, they're upwards here, they're on the invite games now, but that only speaks to, okay, we need to go even more to what we know here. We are loading into the map now as things begin on our screen. It will come up on yours in just a moment, no doubt. Horizon Lunar Colony then will be our opening map. It is our first assault map of the weekend to kick us off with our upper seed invite games, Gigantti versus ENCE. Gigantti still the favourites, no doubt, for going out of this. Yeah,
I think if you look at the three teams we have left, I think there's quite a clear hierarchy of Gigantti, then ENCE, and then Team Nemesis.
Yeah.
But I think maybe Nemesis aren't within touch and distance of Gigantti, but I think each team is in touch and distance.
Yeah. And I think Nemesis definitely have something to prove, of course, because they lost to ENCE 3-0 in the first round. Now they're going to get a rematch. Well, maybe. If ENCE don't pull this off, then Nemesis is going to get a rematch. I'm sure Nemesis want a rematch. It's their second game of the day. And then they're going to have something to prove, something to go with. And they said last night, Chadwinson, they went home, they watched back the VODs. They said we did a great job, by the way, which was nice. And then they've got some things that they spotted they need to improve on. They felt they know where their mistakes came out, and they're looking to go back into a rematch potentially with ENCE here and feeling good about how that might go down. So if that happens, it's going to be an interesting one as well. Here, we are looking at slight changes in the setup for our two teams, but again, it could switch through the last couple of seconds as they begin to shape the last few moments up.
Yeah, very much looking like a triple tank and Junkrat defensively from Gigantti, as we're going to go into this first map any second. There we go. And it looks like a fairly similar one offensively as well. Olba on the Widow.
On the Widow, though. It's the first time we've seen her played all weekend, and definitely the first time we've seen ENCE bring her out, so we'll see what kind of damage he can do with it as they do begin their push through the map. So, it's the first few Junkrats. Bam goes on out. There's a lot of damage landing onto that shield from Crowley, but getting his ult charged very quickly because of it. It's a great start for that Reinhardt. As Oliver takes a big bit of damage at the back here without really dealing much in return. Going to get the heal up as they do start to defend the actual point itself, flanking around the right side, but it's clumping up nicely for a big jump from Junkrat. Europe, though, does get the good block off to try and negate it and let the healing come in for the rest of his team. But they're still keeping everyone healthy. Cloudy gets his ult and he uses it straight away. Does hit quite a few. Damage is going down, and there's the first victim. It is the Reinhardt for NC Sport, and they will lose their big tank and have to fall back quickly. Zarya gets picked off in the fallback as a result, but it's just the two of them. Everyone else stays alive. Snappy does finally get that Moira ult up, but he's a little bit too late to save them for that last fight. However, that is the only ultimate going up prepared for both teams ahead of time. However, Junkrat is about to come up for Gigantti, and Lucio's ult is about to come up for ENCE.
Yeah, so ultimate advantage here for ENCE going in terms of support ultimates going for the next fight, which will be key. But we see early on Cloudy already getting the better of Ruape, and that's going to be a key battle as the series goes on, Panky.
Indeed, now they're trying to push in from the opposite side. They still had that Widow down in the back. Junkrat is setting up the Riptire. He goes up high, looks for an opportunity, finds the Lucio and the Moira. Those are huge people to pick off. As you mentioned, the support ultimate advantage all gone straight away, and Ruape will fall as a result. The push advantage from Gigantti now being used to full effect, going through and cleaning up everyone else, taking away that Zarya as well, forcing NC Sports back once more without having to use any more than just that one ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. They've now won 2 fights here, Gigantti. Defensively, they used the Earth Shatter on one, the Riptire on the other, so that's 2 minutes off the clock, only using 2 ultimates. And even though there's still a lot of ultimates coming with these combos as they go into this next push here.
Yeah, they continue to push on forward. And here comes ENCE straight down the middle this time. They've tried a left, they've tried a right, now they came down the middle and going over to the right again. Coming around the edge, out comes Ruape, but he's straight into a huge Graviton ball. And it's a triple kill for RCK. 4 kills for RCK as he takes down the mech from D.Va as well. Neil helps finish off D.Va herself, and it's only Snappy left alive, but he is in full retreat. ENCE eSports getting wiped out in such a small space. And again, Gigantti have 3 ults left at the end of the fight.
And again, very efficient, very coordinated from Gigantti. You can see they knew exactly what they wanted to do with that. Every part of it, from the early grab to the self-destruct follow-up to the charge to open up kills. RTK got a lot of kills yesterday, and he's doing it again with the self-destruct here. But now we have ENCE with the Graviton.
ENCE have a Graviton, they put it on in, it catches a couple, but it's not too effective in the terms of getting killed. There's the ult from Lucio as well. Finally, Gigantti have used all of their ultimates, but they're alive and healthy and picked up 2 kills again as Nil gets another double Junkrat tire on both supports of ENCE eSports. Straight afterwards, 3 other players fall. Kali is demexed and being chased out, and it's going to be a full team wipe as they just toy with this D.Va, keeping her alive as long as possible, making sure that revive comes later than the rest of the team. And ENCE eSports now once again have to wait for Kali to come back alive. Yes, Gigantti don't have any ultimates left on this one, but I can't help but feel the way these fights are going, that's not going to make much of an impact the way that Gigantti is outclassing ENCE right now.
Yeah, they've looked efficient, they've looked clean, they've looked organised. Small reminder at this point as well, this was ENCE's map pick.
Yeah.
So not a great start. This is desperation time. 15 seconds. They need to win this fight to stay in the game.
They're coming in. They've got a McCree ult. Kali's throwing her ult into the back of the fight. McCree's up and around the far side. The ult goes off. Kali doesn't touch anyone. Nil is actually the first one to get a kill. He takes out the Lucio. Here comes the ult from the backside. It's the high noon, and he picks up Ripper, but it's only the one. Ruapi's down, Snappy's down, Ripper and Nil are down for Gigantti, but it is still a 4v4 on the point. They are keeping it in overtime, going for as long as they can. Kali and Helmek will fall. Pulver's still on the point with that McCree, but then he falls, and that's the overtime ticking away. Lucio dives into the point to get the overtime tick straight back up. Elfie, however, falls quickly afterwards, and that is game.
Yep, Cloudy spinning out of control at the end there, and I think Gigantti are feeling fairly comfortable with this one so far.
They are happy with how easy it was. I honestly expected more from ENCE in their pick, their opening round. Nothing seemed to work.
We're going to get a replay here of some of Nil's rip tires.
Yes, the very first tire, I believe.
But you feel, especially if you come into an Assault map, Assault is one where you have more set plays going into it, generally speaking. It's more straightforward attack and defense. There's less improvisation. There's more set situations that you can prepare for. You go in, you pick that as your opening map, your first pick. You should have something prepared, or maybe something you think that should be more effective than this. We saw them really, they went right, they went left, but it was kind of just the same play every time, just bashing heads. And
yeah.
Cloudy certainly getting the better of that Reinhardt battle early on. And if that's going to be the story of this game, it could get really rough really quickly for ENCE.
It could, and to be fair, they already looked pretty deflated there after that first round. There was only a couple of faces talking, not a lot of movement. It's not a team that's just really here and woke up for a 5-game series. Hopefully they can find something on their defense here to spur them back into it. They are now, of course, switching over, and as you say, you're going to have these preset ideas, you're going to have these preset players on an Assault map. Their attack presets perhaps did seem to work out for them. Let's hope that their defense presets are perhaps a little bit better. They are setting up a very different set of heroes to what we've seen them play in any of their previous maps. Alba, once again, on that Widowmaker. Elfie's on Anna, something you asked to see a couple of times in the past, which we saw, but not to the greatest effect. Ruapete bringing out Orisa, Roadhog on Kali, Snappy on Zenyatta, and Lally on the Junkrat. As for the attack from Gigantti, though, they're sticking with what they do.
Yeah, not overly keen on this Widowmaker pick from Alba. Generally speaking, with going up against so many tanks, it's hard to get any pickoffs because there's just too much health to chunk through, and as you can see here, they're moving in this right-hand side, but they are hit by that Bionade, that's the key.
Ruapete does take down Ripper, it's a good first pick for them to get, and another good grab to bring it back. Lucio is picked off by Alba with a nice shot. Looking now for the next pick onto someone else, but they're all, as you say, tanky and high health. Junkrat pulled out of the air in front of her eyes, but Kali gets the kill, so it's not going to matter, and they actually do rebuttal that first attack quite comfortably.
Yeah, and you can see, if you look at Elfie's ult charge here, 44%, he got most of that just from a simple press of the E and one nade, and that's going to be the key. It stops them healing up, it completely takes Massa and Ripper's healing out of the live, and now they get picked off again.
Yeah, and Alba takes Ripper's health and healing out of the game by shooting him in the head all over again. You were questioning the pick, but Alba's making it work. That's twice he picked off Ripper right at the start of the push, and that makes a difference. Then he pops his ultimate, so now they're going to see the next push coming as it does switch up, as Gigantti have gone for more of a dive comp, as they switched into a Tracer Genji Winston threesome now. Ripper is about to have his ultimate up again, but They'll see him coming. They can see the Genji and the Tracer now. It's a good use of that ult. Quick headshot onto Winston to chunk a bit of his health away. But now they're diving straight onto Olber. He's going to have to fall back as Tracer tries to chase him down. He gets a quick heal as he does get away. Junkrat then to try and help him out. Coming around one side, he's got support from the team. Tracer gets back. Larissa on the point now as Diva diving in. Lally will fall down quickly. Nil picks up that kill with his new deep dive. And he gets the second one on the point on Ruopi. Ruopi does take down RCK's mech, but the rest of his team are falling in. eSports have got 4 dead. Gigantti switched their strategy and have got control at this point pretty rapidly.
Yeah, they changed it up. They swapped it up to dive, and it then countered the composition that ENCE were running defensively. Obviously, ENCE had put themselves in a very difficult situation by not getting a single tick. They have 0 margin for error.
Ripper, despite getting picked off by that Widowmaker in the first 2 pushes, almost instantaneously ends up with player of the game for their defense.
Yeah, both support, I think this was on their defense, and this was throwing both support ultimates. So this is when we saw ENCE commit everything as well, and Gigantti still didn't even wobble.
No, not at all. And he's saying, despite the switching to the dive comp not having any ultimates, despite obviously resetting all those heroes by switching over to those 3, didn't make any difference. We didn't need the ultimates. Just the sheer composition change countered what ENCE's defense was that hard. They got straight in and controlled that point.
Yeah, the problem you hit defensively is if you run a very you have to try and pick a generalist comp. Or there's 2 approaches. You can pick a very generalist comp because obviously they can spawn on everything, they can switch at any point. Or you pick something very specific, but if you pick something quite specific, it could work really well, but you do open yourself up to those counters. And that's what we saw there. Gigantti read it well. Again, like we said, ENCE were in a difficult situation. That was, you know, in reality, it was a pretty decent hold. 2 minutes off the first point, not too bad about that. Forced them to swap onto different heroes, reset their ultimate economy, so they can't bad. They were always just fighting a massive uphill battle and could never come back.
It would have been a good hold on the first site if they could have got the second point themselves. Okay, we hold that first one for 2 minutes, then we lose it and we fall back. But losing that first point wasn't an option. And they stopped themselves in the foot. We're now moving on to Nepal then, so we're going back to that control point option. Slightly different, but we have seen both teams play it so far throughout the course of the weekend. We've seen both of their ideas and their strategies going forward. They did seem pretty similar when playing against different opponents yesterday, but we've already seen ENCE now are trying some slightly different things here today to varying levels of success.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to start on quad tank here from ENCE, so not budging, very much sticking to what they know. This is something they do seem fairly comfortable on, and they did dominate yesterday, but completely different kettle of fish now coming up Gigantti, and as we saw in the last map, Gigantti have the ability to swap to something else as well.
They have actually changed their heat. Oh, I was going to say they've gone from the Moira to the Mercy instead, but right as they start, ENCE actually swap back to the Moira. So they are now pushing through with what they know. Gigantti on the other side having a near identical composition as they clash right on the high ground on the left. So Junkrat from the back doing a lot of damage to Lally as best he can as Reinhardt's flash up front. Oh, and that's not good. Gigantti lose Cloudy off the edge. That's the one way to win the Reinhardt battle. Let's see if ENCE can push the advantage forward with it. Snappy got his ultimate straight out that too, so that's going to be huge. And they do force Gigantti right back towards their spawn. This is going to be a chance for ENCE to get control of the first point, but Gigantti have that Riptide falling in on top of it, and he will take down LB, and David takes out Lally at the same time, so actually a big return for Gigantti right as Cloudy respawns. They might be able to contest this point back straight away.
Yeah, really keen. It looked so good for them. Obviously, we talked about that Reinhardt battle going into it, Cloudy against Garape, and Lally interferes and knocks Cloudy off the edge, obviously, to give him the upper hand, and you saw how easily they won the fight, but that Riptide coming up just swung it all the way back. Just when ENCE seemed to catch a break, taken straight away from him by Gigantti.
Yeah,
no mercy.
I think they can capture the point and have a respite, but no, it's immediately taken back, and now Gigantti are pushing them into their spawn. ENCE respawn as they're pushing out, but there's an ult up for RCK and for David. David gets killed before he can use his, so that's a big deal for them. Ruopi gets picked off by the Junkrat very easily. Cloudy, however, is down as well, so both Reinhardts are out of the picture. On the point go in. They are capturing it, but the contest comes in as Ripper and Massa get deep. Another Riptide comes out. They do fall back and away, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. This time it's Elfie and Olber pick up kills Z. Goes back across to ENCE, but let's see if they can hold it this time.
Yeah, clean execution, used for Graviton, comboed it well, got the follow-up through, and they're back in control of a point, and only 35% Gigantti got up to, so not huge. Key is here now, Davin has for Graviton, so it's all about how can ENCE break this Graviton here from Davin.
Gigantti, there's 3 ults in play for ENCE, one of them, both of them in fact being their support ultimate, so that could be big, but Ruopi's dead real fast as he gets pushed down by RCK, and he finishes pieces off Lally too. This is not good for the ENCE defense, but there's a huge ult from Kali to return the favor and take down members of Gigantti. 3 dead on ENCE, but 2 dead for Gigantti as they push onto the point with that Moira ult channeling. Cloudy gets the kill with his hammer and a double as he takes down both supports. Gigantti will capture the point back, but they are down by 10% for now, so ENCE have a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, we're in this ultimate cycling situation here where one team has ult advantage, win the fight, and then the other team has ult advantage, takes it right back. Did see a bit of a wasted coalescence come out from Snappy towards the end then. It was only him and Elfie. Maybe lost count of players, but we're going straight back into this, and it's ult advantage for ENCE.
ENCE coming diving on in. Elfie does have his ult, but he doesn't get it off in time to save Kali's mech or Olma's life. That's a lot of damage done there by Gigantti using RTK's ultimate, and that is ENCE wiped out.
Yeah, they didn't quite have ult advantage. Olber is a lot closer, but he didn't actually get a chance. They got shut down really early, so the aggression there from Gigantti actually works out in their favor. And now they're approaching 70%, and they're getting into this danger zone where the next fight could be the one that wins it for Gigantti.
And Gigantti have more ultimates to go in with it. Elfie's still holding onto that sound barrier, but it may not be enough. Junkrat comes down the side. It's a nice little slide behind from Gigantti, and in it goes to take down Elfie before his ult really makes an impact. He actually used it, but everyone's dying all the same. Snappy gets the coalesce, but there comes the Graviton ball, pulling them all in. It's actually big because Gigantti lose 3 to it, and onto the point go ENCE. Can they get control of it before this ticks to 99%? It's going to get close, but the contest comes in. Now it's getting very, very dicey as we start seeing the respawns coming back for Gigantti. They're into overtime now as they're starting to pick off people from ENCE left, right, and center. Lally's down, but he will have the Riptire when he comes back to life. Ult comes down from Cloudy. It hits a couple of people as he takes down a RTK. Elfie, though, picking up a kill onto Cloudy just before he finishes the charge. And ENCE are actually doing a good job and get control of the point.
Yeah, tried to stall back in there, Gigantti. Don't know if it was 100% worth it in the time because they were so close to 99% anyway. The zone is that self-destructing Graviton combo that Gigantti are coming on. They need to do something to stop them, and they're playing really aggressively at this choke. And here comes the Riptire. Here comes the
Riptire from ENCE. They're looking to try and stop this. They are falling back and away from the different Junkrat balls at the moment. He's trying to go around one side, look for an opportunity. He does hit RCK's mech, but it's right on top of a health pack, so he heals it up, and ultimately not a lot gets done by that Riptire. It delayed them to the 75% mark, but there's still one more fight here for Gigantti to go big. And they are pushing out the doorway. RTK's got his ult. We've seen him do some serious damage with that before. Here comes the ult over the top from Kali, though. It does take down Ripper, so that's a big bit of the support out of Gigantti's play. David's ult goes off, Nil's ult goes off, and they lose Ruape on ENCE. Elfie has been taken out just before he finishes up to get his ultimate, and ENCE has lost Kali's mech as well. So they're going to get a little bit squishy here. Lucio diving up to one end, but Lally will take him down. It's a quick pick-off thanks to that Junkrat. Overtime ticks on over now. It's ENCE's favor this time, but they are losing 3 players. ENCE are going to have to get the revives out back to point as fast as they can. Ripper has switched over to Tracer to try and keep Team Gigantti into this. He's doing a lot of damage on the point and takes down Ruafi's Tracer on point. Everyone diving in as fast as they can as the overtime starts to tick down and away in favor of Gigantti. ENCE can't get back. And there's the 100%.
Yeah, super close in the end. ENCE made a big comeback, but they got that Graviton. Olber right at the very end was able to Graviton 3 of them, but it was just a little too late in the fight. There wasn't a follow-up available. Lally couldn't get to them because it was a bit of a scrappy engagement on point. So close to swinging that there for ENCE, and there's life in them. This is a lot closer than we saw on Horizon Lunar Colony, and they do look like they can take rounds, they can take maps off here, but Gigantti, so clean in their executions, they're not giving anything up to ENCE. ENCE are going to have to take this off them.
Yep, ENCE, there's no mistakes to capitalize on coming out of Gigantti here. ENCE have got to make their own openings every single time. There's no little thing being shown to it. Seen a couple of ENCE players just falling off the edge of the map in some of those previous fights. Gigantti aren't doing that. Let's see how this one goes though, as ENCE push forward quickly with Olber, this time on for 3, so he's showing a bit of flexibility today. We didn't see from him yesterday. As for Gigantti, they are once again staying with what they know. Point still locked for the next 15 seconds. The ult charging has begun. They start scrapping back and forth. Kali's mech taken very, very low. If he's not careful, he might lose it before too soon. Snappy and Ruafi taking a lot of damage right there. Ruafi needs to stay alive. Cloudy in the right half battle is way healthier than everyone. Over so incredibly low, and then the kills start coming in, and everyone at ENCE begins to fall as a huge Riptire comes out from Nil to take them all down. It's a full team wipe in favor of Gigantti.
It looked so close. You had like both teams bashing heads, clashing right, and everyone was still alive. But as you pointed out, if you look at the health bars, ENCE were all on lifelines right there on a few bars of health, and that Riptire just absolutely devastates them at the end.
And that was all without Cloudy getting his ult. He's now got got him ready to start this next fight. Rupi has his too, but Cloudy's been coming out top of this Reinhardt battle for the most of the day.
Yeah, gonna need something from Ruape. He's got to step up, got to try and match Cloudy, and we see him walk in here, but he's taking a lot of shield damage. Here comes the Shatter.
Shatter comes down, he hits 4 from the looks of things as they do charge straight in. RTK and Nil get the first 2 kills. Lally and Kali do answer in return though, so they do pick up one of their own onto the enemy D.Va. Ruape died before he even got to use his Earth Shatter off, so at least he'll have that for the next fight. But we got to see something special from ENCE. They have the support ultimate in LP onto the sound barrier, but Gigantti have that in return as well, and both teams also have the Graviton.
Yeah, looking really even in terms of ultimates here. Olga switching off to the Tracer, maybe going to try and put more pressure onto Cloudy from behind, make it more difficult for him to deal with. But here comes the push in, but it's a Graviton in the wall from Davin.
Davin pulls them in as close as he can, tries to keep them all in one spot. They do take down Ruape again before he gets to use his ult. Sam Reinhardt is out of the picture. Kali's Z-Mech again, she does try and use her ult, but not going to happen if she falls off the edge of the map. Olba also falling off the edge of the map, and I talked about that in the last point. 2 players that just jumped themselves off. RTK doing a similar thing. Dying to get that mech back up perhaps. We do see the replay of that opening fight. We're looking how low all of ENCE's health bars are. Nil gets his Riptide point blank, comes straight up and in, and then picks up 3 kills to really push it home.
Yeah, and it's a coalescence battle now on the point. They're going really aggressive here, but Gigantti still in control. Sound barrier drop for them. They're running out of ultimates here. Self-destruct's going deep. Only going to find Cloudy though, and Gigantti still looking good on this point here, Panky.
RCK and Kali getting a self-destruct elite. Nil, however, takes down Elfie, and ENCE have lost 4 more players. Rupi switching things up to Winston now. He's got to get back to this point as fast as possible because the overtime is already ticking over in Gigantti's favour. Another big ult comes out from ENCE on the Graviton ball, but it's not going to be anywhere in time because everyone was dead. And Gigantti take the map 2-0 comfortably.
Whenever it's been these big ultimate battles where both teams have a lot, Gigantti have come out on top every time. And you combine that with the fact that they're winning all the opening fights as well, and no matter what ENCE do, they can't seem to get much more of a foothold. They're always that one step behind Gigantti.
It was that opening Riptide for that second map there from Nil's point of view. So quick and easy to slide around the back. Didn't have to go too deep, didn't have to look for squishy targets because everyone was squishy at that point. Blows it up in the middle of the point and gets 3 kills.
And they're on the verge of losing this as well now, ENCE.
They are. It's a tough point to be in. As you said, first game of the day, very quickly down 2-0.
Yep.
And now staring down the barrel of Eichenwald with a mountain to climb.
Yep. This is probably their best chance. If you look at the maps Gigantti tried to take out of the pool, it's the same mode as the one that we're going to play now on Eichenwald in that hybrid. So this is probably their best chance, but the problem is now they're so far behind. It's basically 3 map point or 3 series points for Gigantti.
Yeah, and we are looking at some opportunities. Olber switching things up here and there. We've seen him play McCree, Widow, Tracer throughout the course of today. We see some of their other players obviously switch heroes, but only right at the end to get back on the point and force the overtime. So I'm not going to read too deeply into those, but all of these different opportunities and all these different heroes that Olber is trying to make with these switches, nothing's coming from it. Doesn't matter how fluid that he's trying to be and how he's trying to change his way of play. Gigantti are staying solid with everything they've got, and nothing's getting through.
Yeah, you've seen Gigantti, there was that momentary switch on Horizon where they switched to dive comp, and that's their sort of plan B if stuff isn't working or to try and counter what ENCE are running.
Yeah.
But they've only been forced on that plan B once. The rest of the time, it's just been Davin and Cloudy at the front with Nazaria and Reinhardt combo, and they've just been dominating Ruape and Lally.
Yeah, and as I say, Ruape and Cloudy especially, the Reinhardt is just completely different. When you see everyone jump off the edge of the map for Gigantti. Oh dear.
Yep, the old fake comp to bait them out. I don't think anyone's going to be falling for that on the ENCE side, unfortunately, for them. But it does look like a much more standard composition coming out for Gigantti defensively here. Nil onto that 76. Now we saw him on yesterday.
Yeah, we saw him briefly on it yesterday, but it's nice to see a small change for them. We'll see what kind of damage you can do with it, see how well the hold goes through, because we did see them have a very dominant performance on their opponents to just never coming out of spawn or capturing the first point. So they're looking to try and potentially do the same thing to ENCE as we tick through the last 5 seconds of this prep phase and get this underway. Lally kicking us off as the Tracer here for ENCE. Snappy once again switches over at the last second to Moira, and let's see if Ruape can come out on top of Cloudy this time.
Yeah, they're going to be walking up, backing off from a choke here. They are going to let ENCE, maybe just baiting them into a trap mode, trying to get aggressive, and now they're trying to separate them, but ENCE just moving towards the point here, actually.
Yeah, ENCE just been allowed to walk straight through. We did see some great charges from Cloudy and Ruby yesterday in that very spot, but neither of the charge right now. On to the point they go. Test is underway. Everything's still healthy at the moment. Cloudy is getting close for once, but let's see if they can keep him on the ground for Gigantti. Ripper's going to get a roll up now, and the Coalescence come out from both sides, and they do fire back and forth. Ruppy's first to fall, though, once again, and lose their big tank, and then they will follow with David taking out the mech from Kali. Cloudy takes down Elfie. Elfie does get the mech in return, but Ripper and Master have picked off the rest of his team, and ENCE eSports are once again being wiped out.
Yeah, good rotation from ENCE. They did well to get everyone through that left-hand side from their point of view, onto the point. They got themselves a good position, but the problem with that is it's still just a straight-up fight. With all these tanks on the field, it's still a straight-up fight once you get into that position, and Gigantti, again, coming out on top, and now they're starting to build this ultimate advantage. And so far in this series, every time there's been a lot of ultimates on both teams, Gigantti have won. ENCE need to do better here.
Yeah, however, they do have two big ones in the Graviton Ball and Ruapi's Earthshatter. Let's see if they can make it work. They have got a similar amount in return. Here comes the Ultimate. RCK goes high above the point, takes down Snappy, and that takes the healing away from ENCE, but they've also lost their Lucio. ENCE eSports lose Ruapi right as he uses Earthshatter. Lally, Kali, and Olbo will quickly follow, and once again, you called it before, Gigantti have morals. Gigantti are going to win every time.
Yeah, threw in the sound barrier as well now, and so even more devastating a loss, so now they're behind in economy. You see both Zarya's holding on to Graviton. For Gigantti defensively, the idea is you use all your ults to win one fight, you grab them in the next fight, everyone follows up naturally, and they build up their ults while they focus on that grab. But ENCE straight back at it, but they get Graviton.
There is the grab, and he's going to get pulled in the point. There's a lot of healing coming out, but still, Davin and Cloudy pick up a couple of kills, and Davin, they get two more to make it a triple on top of that Graviton ball, and now the ult are back up to the other three. Massa and Cloudy are all sitting there on theirs. They did push all the way to the end spawn. Now they're going to fall back. And okay, ENCE have 4 ultimates, but I'm not feeling that's going to make too much of a difference the way these games have been going.
Yeah, they've really struggled. They do have a Graviton, that's for one saving grace. They need to nail this, and they need to nail the follow-up. But Earthshatter available from Cloudy, so they have to be careful, and the sound barrier to get through too.
Around the back goes Tracer and Olver. Is their opportunity though, looking for something. Olver is trying to get deep in the point. There's the Graviton, pulls them all in. The ult comes in from Tracer as well. There goes the Devo, and Kali actually does get 3 with it. Going a very big here for ENCE eSports. There's still a couple of return points from Gigantti, but most of their ultimates are dead, and they will get the control of this payload.
Yeah, nice combination with the Graviton and the self-destruct behind. Made it really difficult for Cloudy to shield his team, and he put him under even more pressure. Cloudy and Davin go down with the opening, and at that point they just can't deal with the tanks when you lose 2 of your own.
Yeah, and it's good. What we wanted to see. Let's see if they can keep the push up. The Coalescence is going to come out here from Ripper as they are keeping them all hidden inside this castle. As a lot of damage goes down. Ruapi will fall just as he uses his Earthshatter onto nothing though. And then he's going to quickly be followed by Kali's mech and Olba. Nil popping his ultimate and chasing down the rest of ENCE eSports, cleaning them up, pushing them back and away and resetting them off for the point. They do have 3 minutes to push this payload on through now, but they've got no ultimates and they're coming up against Cloudy with his.
Yeah, a little bit of a weird decision for Gigantti to invest so heavily into that fight, because they weren't fighting on the car, the payload was just being moved by one of the ENCE players in the background, so they didn't really contest the car. I mean, obviously they broke the forward hold, so that's good, but maybe a bit of a waste, and it might cost them here in the long term.
See, they do get the Earthshatter onto actually not many people at all. That's not good from Cloudy. He tried to go deep and charge as well, but didn't get anyone with that. However, his team are picking up the kills all the same. Ruapi fell down, Olba fell down, and Nil takes out Elfie. It's a lot of damage despite so many missed ultimates. Gigantti just stepping above.
Yeah, you felt like you said, Cloudy, you felt like he could have been punished there potentially. He's even going to give a stagger kill onto Kali and Lally, and this is starting to get a little bit devastating here. Davin up to that Graviton again. Gigantti going to reposition, and this is where we saw Gigantti hold, I believe it was Lati Menace on the first one. They held him here, they held really aggressively. So far we've not seen Gigantti lose from this point of the match.
Now remember, ENCE eSports are fighting for their life here, so to speak. They are down 2 rounds already. They have to win this match to stay in. Snappy's going to use the Coalescence to get out. Very low, saved by the last second sound barrier from Elfie. Let's see if they can continue the push on forward, because Gigantti are also very healthy, and now Massa has his sound barrier. Going to pop that as up from above. Still uses his ultimate and starts doing some serious damage. Cloudy gets Olba, but Ruapi gets damaged. The good Earthshatter comes out for a couple, but Ruapi will be the one to fall of the Reinhardt battle. Dylan Ripper are already down for Gigantti, but there's a couple of big kills on ENCE's side as well. Kali is pushing forward. We are seeing people drop left, right, and center. Lally falls down before she can get her ult off for ENCE eSports. Callie's mech gets picked off, and Callie herself is smashed to pieces by Cloudy's gigantic hammer. And now Master goes deep. Elfie gonna get smashed by a huge Earth Shatter, and it looks good for ENCE, but it's suddenly looking terrible as Cloudy turns that fight on his head. ENCE are getting picked apart as Gigantti's respawns come in. They will be pushed back, and they're down to a minute on the clock.
It's honestly insane that they lost that fight. They were in such a good position. Like that, I think, I'm not 100%, but I feel like that Graviton got eaten potentially in the middle of that, because he had 100%, now he has 0. I don't remember seeing anyone get Graviton. Yeah. But so they do that, they make that kind of clutch play, and somehow they let Cloudy just walk back in. Cloudy's not getting punished for his play here, but here comes the Graviton from Lally.
Almost Graviton goes in. Lally, however, gets charged out before she can even use her ult in amongst everyone. Callie's lost her mech. She's going to try and get another fresh one back out. She gets the kill onto Master with her ultimate, but another big Earth Shatter comes in and actually hits Cloudy this time. But can they really capitalize on it? Rupee's getting damage from above. No one really seems to be doing anything to Nil, who's using his ult and wailing away on the whole team. Callie does finally take down Cloudy, and there is going to be no tank on the field for Gigantti for a little while. Nil finally picked off from above. Now Gigantti are getting killed. Maybe there's a chance here for ENCE, but the damage is going to continue coming out from many still alive players of Gigantti, and is going to push them into overtime. They have to stay on this point, but they're already being pushed away from it. Lally is alive, going to try and sprint back to it. Callie stays close enough and does trigger the overtime point. Master is dead, but he's going to have his sound barrier when he comes back up, and ENCE eSports have used all of their ults. Snappy needs to get his up soon if he can. The Coalesce is there, and he's immediately starting to use it, keep as many of his team alive as he can. Can't save Callie's mech though, and he's going to be chased on out. Finished off completely as Elfie is down as well. The ultimates are back in Gigantti's favor if their players can just stay alive, but ENCE are actually doing a pretty good job of keeping everyone up.
Sound barrier committed here from Massa, a bit of a strange one. I don't know why, like, it looks like ENCE are going to get this overtime push, but there's still plenty of time to stop them on 2. So they commit that sound barrier here, a bit of a waste from Massa, but ENCE are certainly making a meal of cleaning up the final players on these cards.
They are right here. Gigantti all died, step back, gonna go and hold for the reset, but there's still a long way for ENCE to go before the actual checkpoint, and it's still in overtime. All Gigantti have to do is wait for Ripper's ult to come up here, wait for Nil's ult to come up here, and we've seen what they can do with a 4 ultimate stack, and they're going for it. The ult comes out from Davian onto nothing. That was a complete misclick, and now they're going to go onto the payload without actually having that ultimate to play with. The Earth Shatter comes out from Cloudy and does hit a couple, but they're being caught in Alder's Graviton ball themselves. The ults are going through, but it's 4 dead members of ENCE, and that's all it needs. Gigantti, without the Graviton ball, still come out on top.
Yeah, they did have a huge ultimate advantage. I still don't think you maybe should use the Graviton like that, yeah. But have a huge ult advantage again and again. ENCE do well, finally. Like we saw kind of on Horizon, they did well towards the end, but they'd given themselves such a disadvantage with their poor start, they could never make up for it with the time back they actually had remaining. But they still have a chance here. It's Icon World, first point isn't a guarantee, and the second point, we've obviously seen what Gigantti can do on it, so it's definitely holdable, but
definitely holdable,
backs against the wall.
We'll see though. It is now all or nothing for ENCE. They've got to hold very aggressively from the start to burn this clock as fast as possible. We did see a huge ultimate from RCK at the end there as well, which is what did a lot of the damage on that payload, keeping it to where it is. So the map does go over and reset. Let's see what the defense shapes up as for ENCE. They are bringing Lally on the Junkrat this time. Everyone else is staying to what we saw them have on attack. Olber on the Zarya, Ruape on the, again, Reinhardt, which he still has an issue keeping alive. Callie on Diva, Snappy on Moira, and Elfie on Lucio.
Yeah, I think Cloudy is very much the spiritual successor to Fraggy in this lineup, very aggressive. Reinhardt obviously back in the meta now, and so defining in so many of these team fights how that Reinhardt battle goes back and forth. And I am liking that we're seeing Lally. We're seeing him on Junkrat here, but on the previous attack we did see him switch onto Tracer, and that did make it more difficult. But again, they ENCE to struggle to finish their play.
We'll see whether or not he has to make that switch again. Now Gigantti, remember, have that dive comp in their back pocket if they need it. We do see a very aggressive position, hits through and do a bit of damage. The push comes out, trap gets triggered, and here comes the first few people from Gigantti around the corner. A lot of damage being put down by both Nil and Lally. Lally doing more though, as he does get a good charge on his ultimate going. He's getting up to 41% already. See, ENCE not going to let the rotation come out from Gigantti here, not letting them round past the corner, keeping themselves pinned on the right side. Cloudy actually the first Reinhardt to fall this time. That's good for ENCE eSports. RCK RCK doesn't quite lose his mech, does fall back for a heal, and it does look like the whole of Gigantti is going to fall away. Keep themselves alive, wait for Cloudy to come back up. It's a good start at the moment for ENCE. They're closer to their ultimates as well. Everyone bar Ripper.
Yeah, you saw Ruape get a lot of support. He got the defense matrix, he got the bubble, but here comes the coalescing push from Gigantti, and they're trying to burst through here.
Cloudy puts the coalesce down to heal Cloudy as best he can, but RCK is going to lose her mech. Going to get taken low afterwards, but she does fall back to safety. ENCE hold against that coalesce, now have their own. Elfie's got his ult, Ruape's got his. Graviton balls go out from both sides and lock each other into the wall. Now the damage is going to start to come down and ENCE are very low, but a great ult comes out from Ruape to slow down Gigantti's push. Davin and Nil will fall quickly on the back of that Earth Shatter. Ruape has now finally died, but Gigantti lost a lot of people in return, including Mata, who didn't get to use his ultimate. ENCE are going to continue to push forward. They're trying to chase Cloudy out to one side, but the respawns are going to come in for Gigantti, and if ENCE don't fall back soon enough, they're going to be catching themselves are a little bit overextended.
Yeah, just about get out there in time. Looked dangerous for a second, but this is much better from Ruape. He's getting more support and he's starting to hold his own in this right half battle, but still a long way to go for ENCE.
Here comes another Earth Shatter from Cloudy. He gets popped up into the air, looking for an opportunity to use it. He does put it down. Doesn't hit too many people, but it does enough to really mess with ENCE's setup, and they lose 4 off the back of that Earth Shatter no matter what. Snappy and Lally have ults, but they're both dead. Kali's the only man standing. He's lost his mech, he's lost his life, and ENCE eSports lose control of the payload.
Just as we were singing Ruape's praises, he chooses to try and go for the hero charge, leaves his team exposed because Cloudy has Earth Shatter. They get knocked to the ground, and then it's all over. So he was doing well, and then he threw it all away for a hero
Cloudy
charge.
is not the kind of player that's going to let that kind of setup go unnoticed. You gave him an opportunity and he used it. Let's see this Junkrat tie from Lally go up and over the top, lands onto Nil, blows him clean out of the air. Junkrat on Junkrat violence is gone. Nil did almost have his ultimate too, so it's going to be a big bit of damage gone from this fight. Ruape gets pushed deeper through. ENCE going way past this choke point to try and make this happen as the Graviton ball comes out onto Ruape, pins him to the wall. Cloudy is low, RCK's out of mech and low. Kali, Ruape will finally fall as Kali's mech will follow quickly afterwards. ENCE eSports are once again getting picked off. They went deep into enemy territory to try and make this fight work. Cloudy's got his ult up. Nil's back alive with his ult now as well. Looking for another big shatter from Cloudy. There it is. Doesn't hit too many people again, but as there was no enemy Reinhardt there to block it, everyone that it hits is too many. Lally takes down RCK's mech, and it does look like they've repelled the Gigantti push for now.
Yeah, they're still trying to battle this way, but Riptide behind. Cloudy playing games, trying to keep himself alive, can not though, and now ENCE moving forward towards the spawn to just stuff it back in here.
Yeah, that's going to be a good Riptide for ENCE, but here comes the Riptide from Lally looking for the enemy run, and he does trade it back, so Nil traded onto Lally. Right as he does it though, he does get picked off from behind, so both press it down. Kali and Elfie both have ultimates now for ENCE eSports, but Ripper and Mata both have them for Gigantti, so they've got the support advantage ever so slightly. Snappy will get the coalesce in just a moment. Let's see when and the push comes in from Gigantti. There it is. There's the coalesce coming out. Cloudy takes Elfie out straight away, and it's a big Graviton ball to lock up all events. The ult straight up in the air from RCK, but it's not going to do a whole lot of damage because there's no one left alive to kill with it. ENCE eSports are now very close to losing this round.
Yeah, I like that from ENCE. Holding so aggressively, they slightly messed up the timing and actually didn't get the block before the open gate animation came through, but they're in a super desperate situation here. Gold box of victory, so close. ENCE need to hold this if they want to stay in this game.
Coalesce comes out, they're going to dive straight onto the payload as quick as they can. This is their last-ditch effort now. Gigantti smartly falling back, not playing this too aggressively. They know they can win these fights if they play it their way. Don't let ENCE dive on too deep. Don't catch them out of guard. They've got the time to play with it. 2 minutes on the clock. ENCE are now on the payload and it slowly begins to move backwards. Ruape has his ult. Let's see if he can find an opportunity. Cloudy uses his and it gets blocked largely. Ruape uses his. Does hit a huge ult for RCK though. That's going to be game as ENCE eSports crumble and 3-0 Gigantti advance.
Yeah, just when it looks like ENCE are holding their own or they get something back in it, there's always just something else around the corner from Gigantti. They don't let up, and we're going to see probably we're going to get the play of the game, which I think will be a very quick replay of that.
Yeah,
Self-destruct we just saw.
We did see Cloudy's ult get blocked, I believe, by the shield from Reinhardt, but completely wiped out the entire ENCE lineup. Fantastic play under a cohesive unit from Gigantti, and yeah, heartbreak for ENCE. But it means Nemesis get that rematch.
Yep, so they're going to go fairly quickly into that next game, actually, while Gigantti get a pretty sizable break, actually, before we go into our grand final at the end of the day. But Gigantti walking past that trophy now, and they've certainly got their eyes on that for later later.
Yeah, they are definitely feeling comfortable. Now, again, if your records are to be held here, ENCE beat Nemesis 3-0 yesterday pretty comfortably. Now, unless this loss really hits them hard, they should have a pretty comfortable game against Nemesis again next. Hoping for Nemesis' sake, they maybe have something new up their sleeve. But in Gigantti's shoes, you've got to be thinking, all right, we did that once. That was an ease. It was a breeze.
Yep.
Possibly going to be playing against ENCE again. If not, it's going to be Nemesis, arguably a weaker team. That trophy is looking very obtainable for Gigantti right now.
Yeah, Gigantti going to be feeling good about this one, and as you said, they didn't just beat them. It's one thing to beat ENCE. I mean, Gigantti and ENCE have battled back and forth in the Finnish Overwatch scene since forever, basically,
back
in one form or another. Yeah, and more often than not, the Gigantti, or formerly an IP team, pretty much always came out on top, I think, with one exception. But it doesn't look like we're going to see a change away from history this time.
Did kind of hope that ENCE would pick up a map or two maybe, or even just a round or two, but everything just went against them in every fight they had. They looked in so many situations like they had the ultimate advantage. They had a chance here, they had a chance there, but something always just crumbled a little bit. Something didn't quite work, or Ruapi couldn't quite land that Earth Shatter, or he left himself exposed and dies a bit too soon, or just something wasn't quite right in each fight and each opportunity, and they couldn't bring it out of the bag and when it mattered.
Yeah, Cloudy was super aggressive throughout. Ruape really did struggle at various times. You saw he could hold his own every now and again, but it would only be momentarily before Cloudy found another opening. And some of the stuff they let Cloudy get away with, I mean, obviously props to Cloudy, but like if you're going to give him that space, he's going to do that. Like we sort of talked on the game more about Davin potentially being, you know, the star player here, the one that would stand out, but it's a tank meta, so no real surprise to see one of the tanks standing out here. Davin didn't even really have to do that much in the Zarya.
No, yeah, like we saw a big play from Cloudy or big Earth Shatter, or they were just there because they could. They didn't have to be big gravitons. They didn't need to be game-changing gravitons because Cloudy was making all those big game-changing plays for him. So takes a little bit of pressure off Davin, keeps him fresh. Maybe he can do it again later on if he's needed instead. Now, though, moving forward, ENCE are going to have to look at playing against Nemesis again. Now, again, yes, it was comfortable for them to do it yesterday, but Nemesis have watched how to beat them now. Nemesis have seen these opportunities of how to get through ENCE and given a masterclass in many ways on how to do it by Gigantti. Let's see what Nemesis have up their sleeves. As I said, I was talking to them earlier on. They watched the VODs back. They watched the game yesterday. They feel like they understand how things went and what they need to be done differently. So I'm kind of hoping we see something surprising and new from Nemesis.
Yeah, I think one thing we need to look out for, we saw it sort of on day one as well, is like Kuhia is a very aggressive Reinhardt, and it's something Ruape struggled with a little bit in that matchup, even though they won the series. You see him struggle here with Cloudy as well, and now he's going back in against another aggressive Reinhardt, so I don't want to harp on too much about Ruape, because he's not playing badly, but there's a lot of attention and a lot of focus on him in this meta.
You say it's a tank meta, tanks are there, the Reinhardt battles are so key to these fights, and unfortunately he does just keep falling a little bit short, so it does sound mean to keep harping on, but it's there. As it is, though, we are going to go around and talk to our winners of our last game in our interview. When we come back from that, we'll head to a short break, and then, of course, have our follow-up game between ENCE and Nemesis. See you in a moment.
And we're back here with RCK from Team Gigantti. So you crushed your biggest competitor, Team ENCE, 3-0 now. How do you feel?
Excellent, to be honest.
So now that you've actually beaten most likely the biggest opponent of tournament, do you think you can actually take the whole tournament easily?
Yes, I think we could, and I think we will.
What are you feeding Cloudy?
It's the Finnish thing called jauheliha, as a mixed meat, and it usually has a grillimauste in it, so that's the specialty of his big shatters.
So if you don't know, there's actually a story about a Finnish basketball player who rose into fame in Chicago Bulls, and he only eats meatballs. I think there's something that connects these two people. So you're going to be waiting for the finals.
Well, Team Nemesis and ENCE have played yesterday, so and they won 3-0. So I think Nemesis have learned from their mistakes, what they made, and I think this one will be a really tight one. Because for now, ENCE will have a great pressure to be winning this, to be able to take revenge on us on the finals. So we'll see.
Any last words for your fans? over the internet world.
Well, thank you for cheering us and keep doing the same. I appreciate it. We all do.
Thank you once again, and congratulations on winning the match. And we will be back at 11:30 when we will see the next match between Team ENCE and Team Nemesis. Thank you.